Section 6, Crime and Punishment. This is another one of my favorite sections. It's very interesting. For this section, you're going to look at two methods for deciding the guilt or innocence of accused criminals. What are some ways in which criminals were punished in medieval Europe? And what changes to the court system helped protect individual rights in the early 1100s in England? So, besides being unhealthy, medieval towns were noisy, smelly, crowded, and often unsafe. Pickpockets and thieves were always on the lookout for vulnerable travelers with money in their pouches. Towns were especially dangerous at night because there were no streetlights. Remember, there's no electricity or anything like that. In some cities, night watchmen patrolled the streets with candle lanterns to deter or discourage criminals. People accused of crimes were held in dirty, crowded jails. Prisoners relied on friends and family to bring them food or money, or else they risked starving or being ill-treated. Wealthy people sometimes left money in their wills to help prisoners buy food. So unlike prisons, at least in the United States today, if you're provided some type of food or work there, but here, hopefully someone knows that you're there and could help you. In the early Middle Ages, trial by ordeal or combat was often used to establish an accused person's guilt or innocence. In a trial by ordeal, the accused had to pass a dangerous test, such as being thrown into a deep well. Unfortunately, a person who floated instead of drowning was declared guilty. Because he or she had been rejected by the water. So what this means is they're looking to see if God is intervening. Again, that connection, that importance of religion. And the other thing to keep in mind is as if you were, going to church, you were practicing everything the Bible said, you likely wouldn't have committed a crime, right? Or you would have sought penance or sought that forgiveness. In a trial by combat, the accused person had to fight or to prove his or her innocence. People believed that God would ensure the right party won. Clergy, women, children, and disabled people could name a champion to fight on their behalf. All right, I guess that's fair. Again, here's another instance in which they're hoping God will intervene. Punishments for crimes were very harsh. For lesser crimes, people were fined or put in the stocks, which is seen here. It's a wooden frame with holes for the person's arms and sometimes legs. I think today, if you go to a place like Williamsburg or like a colonial town in America, you might see models of these. And it's really to publicly embarrass someone. If you did something wrong, you could see you would be in front of many people to see that you, in fact, were the criminal. Being left in the stocks publicly for hours or days was both painful and humiliating. People found guilty of crimes such as highway robbery, stealing livestock, treason, or murder could be hanged or burned at the stake. So burning at the stake is a stake, piece of wood, and then they would light you on fire. Executions, again, were carried out in public, often in front of large crowds. I think part of this is people saw it as, which is kind of scary, entertaining, but also because it was they were hoping to deter people from crimes. If you saw this happening, hopefully you wouldn't commit the crime. In most parts of Europe, important nobles shared with monarchs the power to prosecute major crimes. In England, kings in the early 1100s began creating a nationwide system of royal courts. The decisions of royal judges contributed to a growing body of common law. Along with an independent judiciary or a court system, English common law would become an important safeguard of individual rights. Throughout Europe, court trials based on written and oral evidence eventually replaced trials by ordeal or combat. So this is where you would be in front of a crowd and people are hearing your case, just as we know today. This is another example of a person in the stocks. And that is the end of section 6.